Listen, you're not gonna find anything on me, okay? Trust me.
Empty your pockets into the tray, sir, or we'll have to. Your pockets, sir?
Lady, the problem isn't in my pants.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. It's time for that time of the week where we talk about all things X-Men. It's actually kind of a busy week. We got a little news article about Rob Liefeld to talk about first. We got the HELLFIRE to GALA to wrap up. I guess there's another issue or two left, I think. And then we've got X-Men Legends to talk about. So we got a full slate today. Obviously here with me is the X-Men historian, the Marvel aficionado. Doc, how you doing?
I'm okay. Glad to be here talking X-Men. It's a good distraction for me this week.
Yeah, we're all very sad to hear about your loss this week, and definitely thoughts and prayers coming from my side of the world, brother.
Oh, thank you, sir.
So let's talk about something a little bit more exciting. We've got Rob Liefeld announced his one shot. I think it's X-Force Kill Shot to celebrate the 30th anniversary of X-Force. If people don't remember, when X-Force #1 launched from Rob Liefeld, I think it sold 5 million copies, one of the highest selling comic book issues of all times. And Rob Liefeld is coming back for a 30th anniversary. This is exciting stuff.
You know what? Yeah, it kind of really is. Rob launched, he took over questionably floundering New Mutants, with Wheezy, and then he took it over completely himself, managed to repackage it, rebrand it, and relaunch it as X-Force. It is still to this day the second highest selling comic in history, or at least in modern history, excluding Golden Age stuff, from Marvel, and actually in all of comics, second only to Jim Lee's X-Men #1. And him coming back 30 years later, it's kind of awesome. I mean, I guess we kind of got a little bit of a teaser of this with him doing all of the Deadpool and X-Force variants throughout most of this summer. That seemed to be a hint to me that we were going to get something. And now I'm a little disappointed it didn't actually come out on the 30th anniversary, but it's Rob. So I love the guy, but well, let's see. He's late.
You'll get it when you get it, Doc.
Yes,
That's
sir.
how we do it. But exciting stuff. People will be happy with that. Obviously, he's done some work for Marvel lately. It sounded like they had gone to some type of impasse. Obviously, things have worked out, and whatever legal issues that they had have been worked out for the better. And he's getting to do a one shot, and I think people are going to love it. Still waiting for that graphic novel that he's supposedly finished. Waiting for that one to be distributed.
Yeah, that second Deadpool, the Deadpool Batter Blood, the sequel to the Deadpool Bad Blood from like 5 years ago. Supposedly it's already been, completed and turned in, and basically it's just a question of getting it released. But I think Marvel killed their, Marvel OGN program, the one that they were doing a few years ago. And I'm betting that was because I think the first Bad Blood was part of that, but I'm guessing that the second one was supposed to be. But I don't think that program exists anymore, so I don't know what they're going to do with the project. I'm still waiting for that one. I'm surprised that one hasn't come out yet as well. That would have been a great kind of primer right before this X-Force Kill Shot one shot. I didn't see. Is it? I'm assuming this is going to be like a double-sized one shot, or like 48 pages or something. But I don't think any of those details have been released yet.
I haven't seen that yet, but I would imagine it's probably like a plus-sized issue.
Yeah, and reading through the announcement, it looks like this is kind of a very X-Men Legends style, where it's set in the past. It's not set in current Hickman era X-Men, and honestly, I think that's going to make it a lot more fun for readers.
Yep, I think people will be excited about that. Now let's get into HELLFIRE Gala. We got Planet-Size X-Men last week. A lot of people didn't agree with our assessment that this was some type of active war, and what the mutant nation of Krakoa was doing should definitely be seen as a threat, at least to the rest of Earth. I think today we got confirmation of that, or at least this week, in Sword from Al Ewing. Definitely the best issue that came out this week. I don't love everything about it, but man, it certainly sets up the X-Men or the mutants of Krakoa as quite diabolical. We got Brand on the new, I think it's the new Sword Station that's around Mars. They're having a diplomatic meeting. A lot of people in there. We got representatives from all over the galaxy, including Wakanda, and she's bribing people once again, this time not with flowers and medicines. This time it's with like a new alloy.
Yeah, not adamanta vibranium is their new thing that they're going to just hand people to bribe them, because apparently humans can be bought with drugs and aliens need to be bought with metal. So good.
The idea that there's any metal in the world that can fly through a sun, as if a sun could be flown through, is quite ridiculous, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like the edge of it, like the end of it, but like flying through the middle of it, no, that probably kind of
just getting close to it is quite
yeah, exactly. You're talking like millions of degrees, and metal melts at some point. Jesus Christ, this is
yeah. That part was a bit ridiculous, but so the mutants have said, like, Mars and this new terraformed Mars with the last vestiges of Araco is now the capital of the Sol system, and they're trying to come up with a new currency for the entire galaxy to trade in. Not everyone was impressed by their terraforming, but it's crazy that they've decided that because Mars, I guess, is a unified government, that's like going to be the focal voice or the central voice of the entire galaxy or our solar system, despite having all the heroes still on Earth.
Yeah, this is kind of like me. This is kind of like that episode of Family Guy when Peter just decides to create his own country, and Pretoria.
Pretoria, that's it.
Yeah. That's what this is kind of reminding me here of, where like if I'm all these other alien species, I'm sitting there going like, yeah, we're not taking you fucking serious. You literally just became a planet or a culture like 10 minutes ago. No.
Well, it's not like the Avengers and other Earthborn heroes haven't saved
most of these
cultures in the galaxy every single time.
Yeah, the Avengers have fought beside most of these other species, these other governments. They've saved them on a number of occasions, and the X-Men outside of the Shi'ar are kind of, nobody knows who the hell they are, much less the mutant race. They're like, oh, you're who? What? I know Captain America. Like, I met him a couple of times. Thor's a really good dude. Where's Captain Marvel?
You never defeated Thanos.
Yeah.
That wasn't you.
Like, so
the biggest tyrant in the history of the galaxy.
Yeah. So the idea that they would like just totally get on board, just because this planet calls itself the capital. Yeah, I doubt that any of them would. I mean, granted, they did go with, a bunch of the most friendly, and, they did bribe them basically in order to get recognition. So, I mean, but at the same time, they could still just take your shit.
It's an act of war.
Oh, it's an act of war. Yeah.
I did like Dr. Doom arriving as being the point of view character for all the Raiders going,
what the
my
hell?
ass.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we don't believe you. Like, you are really not that important. God damn it. Dr. Doom's got to come here and point that out to you. So apparently either the readers are evil or Dr. Doom is the reasonable person in the room. In which case, I'm not sure any of these people actually understand the comic books they're writing. But
I'm certain of that part. Is there anything else that happens in this Al Ewing sword that you wanted to talk about before we move on to the next issue?
Well, yeah. I mean, right at the end, you get Scarlet Witch showing up to hang out, to hang out with Magneto right at the end. And I mean, we're getting back.
Shame.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, look, the whole she's not actually Magneto's kid thing, that happened during Axis. Everything that happened during Axis can be especially since Scarlet Witch was evil during Axis because everybody was inverted. All of that shit can be explained by they were evil and lied to hurt him, to hurt his feelings, because Magneto was good and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were evil during that.
Doc, do you want to hear like a really crazy revelation?
Huh.
Everything that you read prior to about 2 years ago actually never happened.
Yeah, I know.
Because once Jean Grey, as a younger person in our modern times, convinced Iceman that he was gay, and then once Extermination happened and they sent that new version of Iceman back to replace the original version, everything changed. And obviously the other X-Men that were sent back, the original team, all of them had new memories now, and nothing would have happened as it originally did.
Yeah,
so everything prior to that moment was undone.
I know. And every time, Moira died, we have no idea what reality we're in. So great. But no, like, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what in the hell they're going to do with why this whole event has to explain why Magneto's about to be on trial, and still having a relationship with his essentially daughter is not really good enough.
We shall see.
And
that is obviously coming up. I will read the first issue. I'll review it here on the channel, but it's Leah Williams' comic. I won't read anything after that unless it's spectacular. And I'm not planning on that being in the trial of Magneto. Moving on to the next issue, we've got, my goodness, what was the next one? It was Way of X.
Yeah.
How disappointing was this? This is a miniseries that got sidetracked by an event it did not need to tie into. And it just kind of killed everything Cy Spurrier was working on. And it's better than most of the other Hellfire Gala comics, but it's a huge step down for Way of X. I was really disappointed.
It was like the first issue and the first two issues were surprisingly solid, and you didn't have a lot of that Cy Spurrier pretending he was Alan Moore meets Warren Ellis, like he has for most of his career, and has been a huge disappointment as a result. I was actually getting like Cy Spurrier that was actually interested in writing a superhero comic that explored some philosophy. And this one got completely sidetracked. We got to spend half of it with Kurt drunk or feeling guilty and having a hangover because he was drunk.
Pretty a character make a complete jackass of himself at a party.
Yeah, exactly.
As if he was some teenage frat boy.
Yeah, and ranting about, okay, I mean, the nice part is nobody could figure out what the hell he was even talking about. So while he embarrassed himself, there's nothing specific to be embarrassed about. He didn't say anything totally inappropriate because nobody knows what the hell he was talking about. So
and it got really even dumber because he goes to Mars where there's an enormous orgy going on, and he's just aghast that one of the mutants is handing out prophylactics.
Yeah.
I liked this story arc better when I watched it on Battlestar Galactica when it was interesting.
Yeah, and like the whole go forth and make more mutants. Yeah. Battlestar Galactica had a reason to do it because they were an endangered species. Back in the 198 era of X-Men, this would make sense because they were an endangered species. But now there's like 30 friggin' million mutants. Jesus Christ, they'll get bigger on their own. You don't have to go and make a big deal about it.
Well, it's a superhero comic.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand, like, Cy Spurrier wanting to explore that ethical and religious side of it, especially with Kurt, deciding to create a new religion. But
I'm under the impression he's decided not to create a new mutant religion.
No, he has, because he's already, but it's just not Christianity.
No, I think he's decided they don't need a religion. They need something else.
Okay. I mean, yeah, but they still need a philosophy. They still need a worldview. And yeah, him running. Why is he so?
Why does this issue exist? It completely sidetracks the story. Then you got this whole side story of everyone dropping off their mutant babies as orphans.
And with Stacy X people are happily dropping off orphan babies that they have to a hooker with a brothel. I'm really confused about that. I mean, the only interesting part of this entire thing was like the 8 pages where Legion was running around actually like trying to track down Onslaught.
And even that was kind of wasted, because it was like this stupid thing where these two female characters that are obviously into each other, one of them, when she gets excited, ends up cutting the other one up. So they have to learn how to do it in their minds like they were in Demolition Man. And he uses the opportunity to flush out Onslaught. That was the more exciting part of it. It was just like,
yeah, I mean, that was relatively interesting. And then Onslaught somehow ends up in that giant Mr. Fantastic looking gravity making weird mutant from the first issue that's been reborn and is now a nanny to the orphans. I'm so confused. This got back into that Cy Spurrier trying to pretend he's Warren Ellis and Alan Moore. I'm smarter than you. Version of Cy Spurrier that's really, really obnoxious. And there's a reason why he's never been successful. But like the first couple issues of this they toned that side of him down, and it was significantly better. This felt like a huge waste of time, and we need to add an extra issue onto this limited series just to make up for the fact that they wasted one of the issues on this, because they didn't make any advancement towards whatever the hell Kurt is going to create. They keep adding pages of whatever pseudo Bible thing that he's going to come up with at the end. Although I'm betting that by the end of this, Kurt is not actually the one that creates the religion. It's Legion.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Kurt. Like I said, I think he's given up on Insight. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way I've interpreted the character. That's why he was drunk or whatever. But it was better than most of what Hellfire Gala has been. But in comparison to the other issues of Wavex, it was a major disappointment. Finally, we got Wolverine. This was the least interesting, least successful issue so far. This was almost all filler until we got some reveals at the end about the Terra Verde plant people.
Yeah, this was look, I've seen Scott Eaton's art in the past. He was on X-Men Legacy, like 10 years ago with Mike Carey. His art was pretty good back then. I don't know what the hell happened to him, or if he's just literally throwing putting 3 hours a day into 3 hours per page of effort into the art on this, because it's terrible. It's really, really lazy art and not very, it's just, this doesn't even look like the same artist. But story wise, yeah, this is like all of the worst parts of X-Force and Wolverine so far. More of it. You have the same bad art, Gary Brown level art. Well,
it's not
better. It's better than Gary Brown, but definitely not as good as literally any of the other artists. So, and then they're just wasting more time on this whole plant people thing. The problem with having all the Terra Verde telefloronics
Turns
stuff,
out they're symbiotes, Doc.
yeah, they are. But the problem with it is you can't tell the difference between, like, just artistically. You actually have to have it explained to you on if it's Krakoa doing shit or if it's Terra Verde doing shit, because they're all operating with plant technology and it sucks. And all their plant technology looks the same.
Yeah, and Beast he hijacked the Terra Verdian culture. He's a colonizer, and he decided to use them as agents or whatever. One of the dumbest, definitely the dumbest thing that Percy's written since he's been in.
He's feeling like much more like the Dark Beast than real Beast. This is, I'm sorry, but this is not the Hank McCoy of our universe. This is the one from Age of Apocalypse universe. I don't really give a shit what they argue.
They've been doing that with him, but just the story itself is dumb. And the execution and the big reveal, and it turns out Logan and the Terra Verdians are buddies at the end, because now he realizes their plight. And really, it was Beast who was bad the whole time. It wasn't them who tried to kill them when they visited Terra Verde in that stupid X Factor story that we all hated so much.
Yeah, it's just boring. It's just boring. I'm sick of fucking plants, and I think
this is why X-Force is not on my pull list anymore. I've removed it. I'm not reading X-Force anymore after HELLFIRE Gala. If I get one more issue of it, even hinting at it in Wolverine, I'll be dropping that too. I'm not that attached to the series at this point.
Yeah, I'm getting very close to that as well. The plant shit is the least interesting part of any of this, and they keep making it the most important part. It's the one thing
going back to the stupid well. Where's Zeno? You actually had a pretty good villain organization. No one's seen him in a while. Where's the Russians with Mikhail and all that stuff? Yeah,
where's Mikhail with the Cerebro sword? Where's the Russian spy shit? Where's the CIA and the X desk? Where the hell's that Jeff Bannister guy? Where are the vampires?
I would take the vampires in a heartbeat over this.
Yeah. Where are all the shit that anybody cared about?
Go back to Canada and like hanging out with kids again. That was more interesting. I just, it's not for me. So this was the best week of X-Men as far as HELLFIRE goes so far. Sword's pretty damn good. Way of X better than most, but a disappointment in comparison to the first few issues. And Wolverine's just, Ben Percy's lost his way. I hope he finds it soon.
I do too,
in my opinion. So there was one last issue of X-Men this week. X-Men Legends #4, the Simonsons, Walt and Wheezy, returning to finish up their X Factor story. I have not got to this yet, Doc, so you're going to have to do the heavy lifting on this in about 3 minutes, because we are quite ways into this video. How good? What did you enjoy the issue, and what was resolved?
Oh, I absolutely enjoyed the issue. It was there was a lot of, it continued the same story from the first issue with the Simonsons here, with Hodge still attacking now this issue was much more about Hodge and him trying to just take out X Factor. It was kind of a very, very obvious precursor to what eventually would happen in Extinction Agenda. It ends with Archangel taking out, after a long, I mean, this was a very action-oriented comic. Probably, 16 or 18 of the 22 pages in this were just a straight up fight between Cameron Hodge in that, well, they called it the Behemoth armor, which kind of was it's almost like prototype version of Cameron Hodge from Extinction Agenda meets prototype Smiley that the right uses. But it also explains a lot of what Apocalypse's motivation was with him attacking X-Factor and constantly trying to manipulate them in his early appearances throughout X-Factor. He was preparing them for the future because
it was a crucible.
He was putting them through basically a crucible in order to sharpen them. Because
hey Doc, I'm sorry, this is off. Did you see what's coming up in the X-Men? No. I can't remember which series it is, but they're going to go to the Crucible.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
It was in the solicitations for September. I thought it was amazing.
Because what we need after a gala is a ball. But getting back to the point here, the whole thing was that SHIP, it discussed the origins of SHIP, and as we discussed last week or last issue, it is a celestial ship, like from the Celestials, and what was happening was the ship was being recalled by the Celestials, and it was supposed to gather specimens, kind of like Noah's Ark, in order for the Celestials to judge our planet, to decide whether or not to destroy it or not, if we were strong enough to survive. And
they should have sent back Wolverine.
Yeah, they probably should have. He probably included him with the original 5, and then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you guys are pretty survive." But he sends the original 5 X-Men to, he was preparing them for what was coming in their conflict, or their meeting, and proving themselves to the Celestials. So this ends up as a good. I'm trying to remember what issues of X-Factor this connects to, because it's been a long time since I read that. But this was a very good, kind of
they got
bridge.
Inspected.
Yeah, this was a good bridge story to explain why they ended up there. And honestly,
so you're recommending it?
I am highly recommending it. Buy both issues, issue 3, issue 4. They're great. They're good fun. They connect back into, but there's nothing here where they need to retcon out anything or mind wipe anyone, because Hodge is never found out to be Hodge. So at the end, he can still go be a surprise in Extinction Agenda. He gets sent back to the right so that he gets to get installed as the leader. X-Factor never finds out that Apocalypse was testing them, and it explains why SHIP just took off and takes them to the Celestials.
I'm gonna be honest, Doc. Do you know why they don't have to retcon or anything, or it doesn't change anything?
Because nothing happened.
No, because Wheezy's a fucking professional. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect bridge story. It fills a gap that you didn't even know was really a gap, and explains more about the nature of why Apocalypse was after the original X-Factor, how Hodge ended up in Genosha with an armored body, and what the nature of SHIP is. So I love it.
Sounds good. So it was a very full week in X-Men. We got the Rob Liefeld announcement. We got 3 issues of HELLFIRE Gala. I think it's going to wrap up next week. And we got another X-Men Legends. Sounds like it was hot. I'll be reading that after the Comics Aficionados yesterday, because this will be coming out on Sunday. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Doc. And we will see y'all next week.
Thank you, sir.